you got to start off with the biggest spot really in this entire roster change here we've had this offseason. And that's the quarterback position. You see those two guys there in the picture, if you're watching on the video here, of, you know, Russell Wilson. Obviously, he's going to be the starter this year here to start, at least to start the season. Solid veteran guy with a lot of upside there. Obviously, has some great years in Seattle. I know there's some people who may not be extremely high on him. Let's be honest. I know he's had his issues the last couple of years. Denver basically ran him out of town. Pittsburgh, started off really good with him and ended up really bad. I think you got to look at what happened with him in the first half of Pittsburgh. Once he started, being the starting quarterback again there. Because when you look at what he did towards the end, there was a lot of fighting with the offensive coordinator. They became much more of a running attack team. We're really using him to his strengths to a certain degree. Like I said, I think we can get something out of him. Now, do I think he should be here for multiple years? He's an answer for a few years? No, of course not. But I think as a 1-year option, if you had told me, okay, the Giants are going to sign somebody to a 1-year deal, and that's going to be your quarterback to start the season, who knows for how long, but, to start the season at the very least, maybe the whole season, who knows. I got to say it, of all the people available this offseason, talent-wise alone, he probably was the second best answer I would have given you. Besides, obviously, Aaron Rodgers, who had his own head case issues and stuff, too. So you basically got two people that have had some issues at prior places they've been. And I think you look at Russ, and I think like I said, he's not a bad option for a 1-year guy. That's what he's best at. Then you got Jameis Winston, of course. Jameis Winston, let's be honest here. I don't think there's a single person who would not say that Jameis Winston is probably the best backup quarterback we've had in many years. Like, this guy can literally go out there and start right now and be better than a lot of the starting quarterbacks we've had in the last couple of years. He's definitely better than Drew Lock. He's definitely better than Tommy DeVito. He's definitely better than Daniel Jones. You can go on and on about the Glennons of the world and people like that have started in the Daniel Jones era. This guy is hands down better than pretty much everybody who's. I'm trying to think in my head if I can think of one person that I wouldn't put him ahead of. That's played quarterback for us the last couple of years, and honestly, it's a struggle for me. I can't think of one. I probably later on, but God damn it, that guy. But there's not a single guy I can look at right now and go, this guy was a better quarterback than our current backup. So to me, it's a great thing when I can look at this roster and say, our backup at the most important position on the entire roster is better than anybody who has started this position for the last 5 years. I'll say 5 years because we had Eli, obviously, for the first half of the rookie year for, Daniel Jones. And obviously, I'm not going to disrespect Eli Manning like that. Eli Manning should have been the quarterback that rookie year for much longer than 4 weeks, as far as I'm concerned. I'll still say it, and I'll continue to say it forever. But, then you throw in Jaxson Dart, the guy we literally traded up for in the second round. The guy was handpicked by our head coach. Again, guys, I went over it. And you can see the video we put out there on Jaxson Dart leading up to the draft. Not necessarily a huge fan of the way he plays. I think he's a little bit of a project. But again, we got the guy the head coach wanted. The guy who's supposedly a quarterback guru to so many people. And we now give him the chance to sit for the year. There's no reason to see the field the entire year if need be. This is about as good a scenario as you possibly could get with Jaxson Dart. Go ahead and let him sit. See what you got. And obviously you got Tommy DeVito. Now, there's a lot of people who are saying Tommy DeVito is going to be gone. I'm telling you right now, Tommy DeVito is not going anywhere. Tommy DeVito, unless someone picks him up off the squad, is going to sit in our practice squad all the year long, guys. And what's going to happen is you're going to see him as a potential backup. Let's say Russell Wilson hypothetically gets hurt. Jameis Winston becomes a starter. Jaxson Dart stays as the third emergency quarterback that's on the roster but never dresses, basically. It should dresses, but not on the active roster unless two quarterbacks get hurt. But if Jameis has to step up and start, now you move Tommy DeVito to the backup position. You can leave Jaxson Dart off the field. That is a big thing. And I think a lot of people are overlooking that. Tommy DeVito, third year in this offense, with experience with a lot of the people on this team still, obviously. The offense didn't change too much, which I know is kind of scary to say, but it really hasn't. This gives him a chance to go ahead and be that guy who can be on the practice squad, come up to be the backup if Russell Wilson gets hurt or Jameis Winston gets hurt, hypothetically. Obviously, it's more like Russell Wilson because he'd be playing, but you just never know. So, you go ahead and you have a position now where you have 4 quarterbacks. Like I said, 1 to start, 1 to be your veteran starter, 1 to be your backup now. That's, again, much better than anybody you've had starting at the position for the last few years. You also throw in the fact that now you got a guy you're developing as your third quarterback. And now you got an emergency quarterback that, again, let's be frank here. Never going to light it up. Never going to be a star. But he makes it where he can go on the field, not fully embarrass himself, and you don't have to ever worry about playing Jaxson Dart too early. And that's a huge thing here. So we got Rob officially back in the building here.
Rob has entered the building.
Woo!
It's me. Oh, Rob, I'm in the building.
Oh, it's too late now. You're already here.
Oh.
You want to give any final thoughts on the quarterbacks here, Rob?
I mean, I caught a tail end of it, and that's pretty much how I feel about it. It's like you brought in a veteran quarterback that's been to the Super Bowl a few times to help coach up your new toy that you just drafted. You got another veteran quarterback that has not been to the Super Bowl. But he's
been to the Super Bowl, but as a commentator.
Yeah, well, that's different.
He's working there for Fox Sports.
Yeah. So he could be also the tail of the tail, the tail of the tape, if you will. Like, hey, like this is what I did just because you draft here or draft there. Like, you still need to put the hard work in and you need to do this and that. So you get like both sides of the coin of like, hey, this is how your career could be. This is also how your career could be. And then you can look at DeVito as well and just be like,
yeah,
this is also how your career could be.
There's a lot of could be's.
Yeah. So it gives him kind of multiple choice of how he wants his career to turn out. So like you said, you're able to sit him for a year and let him develop and see how these guys react.
Yep. And I do think we'll see him at some point. I say it the whole year, but in reality, we're going to see him, I think, either when it comes down to either like if the season doesn't go our way towards the end of the year, they'll probably put him in for a little bit there. Or what could very well happen is if we're winning and we have a game that we're wanting to rest some people, or let's say hypothetically, and this is the scenario I would love for, we're like in the playoffs ready to go and you just wanted to start in the last game. Like that's the kind of scenarios I think you got possible with Jaxson Dart. I do think we'll see him at some point because this is a very, very good quarterback class supposedly going out. Again, they say it every year, except the year you're in. It's amazing it happens. Yeah. Next year is the year. Like if it is as good as people say it is. Again, I've said it before. We did not give up that much to get Jaxson Dart. Nothing will preclude us from going ahead and getting a quarterback next year if we have to. So they're going to do what they have to do to evaluate him if they're in a position to get a quarterback in the draft next year. And they should.
Correct.
They should, point blank.
Listen, and there's nothing wrong with, just because you got Dart and a brand new toy doesn't mean you're going to have to, that he's going to be your starter. Like they might find themselves losing, and then dream scenario with some of these guys, some of these fans out here, we get Archie Manning.
Yeah, I mean, I doubt that'll happen. You never know here, but let's see.
If you like that clip, then you will love the full episodes too. Find us on your favorite podcast app and look for us on all your favorite social media platforms.
Thanks so much.
Please, I'm begging you. Please subscribe.